What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to Formula Redline. And if you're new here, you've just clicked on what might be the most important F1 update you'll watch this week. We're diving deep into the absolute chaos that's unfolding in the paddock right now. And trust me when I say this, what I'm about to tell you is going to change how you see this entire 2026 season. So before we get into the technical revolution that's literally reshaping Formula One as we speak, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because this channel is becoming your home for real F1 talk. No clickbait, no rumors, just pure verified information that matters. Let's get straight into it. April 5th, 2026. And we're now 5 races into what's being called the most significant regulatory overhaul in Formula One history, and I'm not exaggerating. The data coming out of the last 3 Grands Prix is genuinely mind-blowing. The new power unit regulations that everyone was worried about during the off-season, they're not just working, they're exceeding every single projection that the FIA put forward. We're seeing lap times that are only 1.2 seconds slower than the 2025 cars, despite losing nearly 400 horsepower from the old hybrid systems. How is that even possible? The answer lies in something that most casual fans aren't talking about: active aerodynamics. Let me break this down for you, because this is where it gets absolutely insane. The 2026 technical regulations introduced what's called X mode and Z mode. These are 2 distinct aerodynamic configurations that the cars can switch between during a lap. X mode is your low drag configuration. The car automatically adjusts its front and rear wing elements, reducing downforce by approximately 30% on the straights, giving these machines absolutely mental top speeds. We're talking 345 km per hour at Monza. That's faster than anything we saw in 2025. Then you've got Z mode, which is your maximum downforce configuration through medium and high speed corners. The transition between these modes happens in less than 0.3 seconds, and it's completely automated based on throttle position, brake pressure, and steering angle. Now here's where the tech gets even more fascinating. The onboard computers are using predictive algorithms that actually learn the circuit during practice sessions. By qualifying, the system has mapped every single braking point, every turn in, every apex, and it's optimizing the aero transitions to within millimeters of perfection. Red Bull's chief technical officer came out 2 days ago and said their system is now making over 800 aerodynamic adjustments per lap at Barcelona. 800 adjustments. That's not a race car anymore. That's a flying computer that happens to have wheels. But let's talk about what everyone's really buzzing about: the power units. The switch to sustainable fuel and the new hybrid architecture was supposed to be Formula One's biggest gamble. 6 manufacturers committed to this: Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull Powertrains, Renault, Honda, and the new Audi power unit. 5 races in, and we're already seeing a complete shuffle in the power hierarchy. Honda's return with their partnership with Aston Martin is looking absolutely sensational. They've won 2 out of 5 races, and their energy recovery system is operating at an efficiency level that's making everyone else in the pit lane nervous. They're recovering nearly 40% more energy under braking than the 2025 units. And they're deploying it with such precision that their drivers are getting power boosts exactly when they need them most. Not just in a linear dump like the old systems. Mercedes, on the other hand, and this is painful to say as someone who respects their engineering legacy, they're struggling. Their power unit is down on electrical deployment, and there are confirmed reports from 3 separate sources that they're experiencing thermal management issues. Lewis Hamilton, now in his 2nd season with Ferrari, actually commented after the Shanghai race that he's relieved he made the move when he did. That statement sent shockwaves through the paddock, because Lewis never publicly criticizes his former teams. The fact that he felt comfortable saying that tells you everything about where Mercedes is right now. Ferrari's power unit, paired with their own chassis, is producing the numbers everyone expected. Charles Leclerc is leading the championship with 112 points, and the SF26 is showing incredible consistency. But here's the kicker: it's not the fastest car on pure pace. That title belongs to McLaren, and their Renault power unit combination is producing qualifying performances that are genuinely stunning. Lando Norris took pole position in Bahrain, Jeddah and Shanghai, but he's only converted one of those into a win. Why? Race pace degradation. Their tyre management is costing them 7 to 10 seconds over a race distance, and that's a fundamental chassis philosophy problem that you can't fix with upgrades alone. Now let's shift gears and talk about the absolute elephant in the room, the cost cap controversy that broke yesterday. The FIA released their 2025 financial audit results, and 2 teams have been found in breach of the $140 million cost cap. I can't name them yet because the official penalties haven't been announced, but multiple credible sources are pointing to 2 constructor teams that apparently exceeded the cap by a combined $18 million. $18 million. That's not a minor accounting error. That's a deliberate push for performance advantage. The penalties are expected to be announced within the next 72 hours, and there's legitimate talk of championship point deductions, wind tunnel time reductions, and potentially even race bans for specific personnel. This is massive because if points are deducted from the 2025 Constructors' Championship, we could see retroactive title changes. Imagine finishing P2 in the championship, only to be awarded the title 8 months later, because the team that beat you was cheating the financial regulations. That's the reality we're potentially facing, and it's going to set a precedent for how seriously the FIA takes cost cap enforcement going forward. On the driver market front, things are heating up way earlier than anyone expected. We're only in early April, and already there are 3 confirmed moves for 2027 and serious negotiations happening for 2028. The biggest story is Oscar Piastri. His current McLaren contract runs through 2026, but Red Bull has apparently tabled an offer that would make him one of the 3 highest paid drivers on the grid. Red Bull is planning for life after their current lineup, and they see Piastri as the foundation of their next championship cycle. McLaren is obviously desperate to keep him, and sources say they're preparing a counter offer that includes partial team ownership equity, which would be unprecedented for a driver of his age. Then there's the George Russell situation at Mercedes. His performance has been strong, but with Mercedes struggling with their power unit and falling to 5th in the constructor standings, there are whispers that he's had exploratory conversations with Aston Martin. Aston is building something special with their Honda partnership and their new Silverstone tech facility that just went operational last month. They're spending money like they're trying to buy a championship, and honestly, with Lawrence Stroll's backing, they might actually do it. Technical Directive TD09 that was issued 3 weeks ago is also causing absolute chaos. The FIA basically told teams they need to modify their floor edge designs, because several teams were exploiting a loophole that allowed them to run effectively lower ride heights without triggering the ride height sensors. 4 teams have had to bring modified floors to the Miami Grand Prix next week, and the performance impact is estimated to be worth 2 to 3 tenths per lap. That might not sound like much, but in a field this competitive, that's the difference between front row and 5th row. Alpine and Haas are the teams most affected by this directive, and both have publicly stated they believe the rule clarification was pushed by competitor lobbying, not safety concerns. The sprint race format has also been expanded for 2026. We now have 8 sprint weekends on the calendar, up from 6 last year. Fan reaction has been mixed, but the data from the FIA shows that television viewership for sprint races is up 23% year-on-year. Younger demographics are engaging more with the shorter format, and that's exactly what Formula One wants as they try to build the next generation of fans. Personally, I think the format still needs work, but the intention is right. Let's talk about the Las Vegas Grand Prix for a second, because the circuit has undergone major changes for this year's race. After the drainage cover disaster in year 1, and the temperature issues in years 2 and 3, they've completely resurfaced turn 14 through 17, and modified the barriers at 3 different sections to improve safety. The race is scheduled for November, and early simulations suggest lap times could be 4 seconds faster than 2025. Las Vegas is becoming a proper high-speed technical challenge, rather than just a street party with cars, and drivers are actually excited about it now. We're also seeing unprecedented levels of simulation and data analysis. Teams are now running race simulations that factor in over 60,000 variables, including tire degradation, fuel load, track temperature evolution, competitor strategy probabilities, and even weather pattern predictions 48 hours in advance. Artificial intelligence is playing a bigger role than ever before, and some engineers are saying that race strategy is becoming less about human intuition and more about algorithmic optimization. That's a controversial take in the paddock, but the results speak for themselves. So where does this leave us heading into the Miami Grand Prix next weekend? Charles Leclerc leads the championship, but Lando Norris, Fernando Alonso, and Oscar Piastri are all within 30 points. The constructor battle has Aston Martin leading Ferrari by just 12 points, with McLaren only 18 points behind. This season is shaping up to be one of the most competitive we've seen in a decade, and the technical innovations we're witnessing are genuinely pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible in motorsport. The cost cap controversy could completely reshape the competitive order, and the driver market is more volatile than it's been in years. This is Formula One in 2026, faster, smarter, more complex, and more exciting than ever. That's your update for April 5th. If you found value in this breakdown, subscribe to Formula Redline, because we're doing this every single week with the depth and detail you won't find anywhere else. I'll see you in the next one.